Oh, I am so excited today to welcome Lauren Powers. Lauren is someone that I would not only consider an incredible mentor in my life, but also a friend, a powerhouse woman. You know these type of women, the women that do it all. Her name, Powers, could not describe her any better. She shakes up the marketing world as the co-founder of CRTX, the AI marketing agent. She heads microsite digital marketing. She's helped countless health practitioners grow their business and make millions. Her work has gotten her noticed by big names such as Entrepreneur Magazine, Essence, and even Chevrolet, who called her a sister with superpowers. She's also run fitness gyms throughout Atlanta. She's helped hundreds of startups thrive. She's a proud Spelman College grad, a sought-after speaker, the host of her own podcast. I mean, this girl does it all. But I'll be honest, what I'm most excited about with this interview is to lift up the hood, to uncover her personal transformation, the transformations that have led her to changing her definition of what success is. So it is with my pleasure that I welcome the powerful, the dynamic, and my good friend, Lauren Powers. The Lauren Powers in the house.
She's here. Hello.
Oh, I was just before we hopped on, the first thing I was thinking is I am so excited to have you here because I love real, authentic, be yourself, speak your word type people. And you are like the epitome of that.
Thank you. I actually try very hard at that. It's like you would think you just wake up and just be natural all the time, but I have to like make choices to be authentic. So thank you for seeing me, Tricia.
And
I feel
isn't it
seen.
funny that we do have to make choices to be authentic? I do
Yes.
think that's weird because we should just literally wake up and be like, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm me. I'm showing up as me. Look yourself in the mirror. Be like, I'm awesome. I'm great. I'm good at what I do. But we walk into the world and we power through. And I love, by the way, that your last name is Powers, because if I were to describe to somebody, they were like, hey, do you happen to know Lauren Powers? I'd be like, okay, take her last name and multiply it by 400. And that is
me.
the Lauren Powers. And the reason I bring that up is your biography. I mean, girl, you are like the epitome of success. In
Aw,
the
Tricia.
outside world you look in and you use this world powers. I mean, you are a powerhouse. You are. I mean, on top of just being awesome with marketing and consulting, you're a podcast host, you're an MC, you've worked with Fortune 500 companies.
Yes.
And your personality, as I'm sure everyone here will get to know, is what I call a very strong red, right? It's just...
You don't think I'm soft?
I know.
And gentle with soft edges? And
I'm going to get to that today, Lauren.
you don't think like when I wake up my kids in the morning, I sing them a lullaby? You don't think?
We're going to dive
Because I don't.
Because I think...
bang fucking pots and pans when I wake my kids up. If you really want to know. Sorry, is this like a non-cussing platform?
No, absolutely not. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm thinking of the other day where I took my son's arm and literally pulled him out of bed so he hit the ground because he wouldn't come out of bed. But the reason
Gentle
I say
parenting,
this
yes.
is that when you have this type of personality, it's ingrained in you to power through. It's ingrained in you to just keep going. And despite adversity, it's almost like things come along and you just knock them down, right? As you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that your personality is very much that. But you've gone through recently a transformation with your health. And what I'm wondering is like, what was happening behind all of those achievements and all of that powering through that brought you to a point where you were like, oh crap, I have to do something about my health? Was there this crossroads that you came to with this power through mentality that had such an impact on you that you were almost forced to make a decision to change your life? Did you have that moment? And can we talk about what that felt like?
Yes. So it all surrounds authenticity, literally. Like being on stages and being on platforms, especially in the health space. I do believe that I have a certain responsibility, not to be an image of health. I mean, like I'm a human, right? And I'm not even a practitioner. Like I help you guys. Is what I do. But I felt the deepest fraudulent spirit when I'm helping my clients make millions with all of their healing modalities, and I'm going to all these conferences and learning about all these different things. I'm leading the energy of the conference if I'm on stage, and then I'm going home and I haven't like taken a shit in a week. And and I thought that was normal for a long time. And when I started to become exposed to what health should be like versus what I thought it was, I said, there is absolutely no way that I can be hired or someone asked me to come and like move energy in an experience that I'm not even experiencing myself. So I felt super fake. It would be like me being a business coach to you or anybody else, saying, yeah, you need to run your company and be a better CEO and all that, when my whole business is like crumbling in the background. Like it just doesn't, the math don't math and it don't add up. So my nerve was plucked, honestly, for me to change my life, because I can't represent one thing over here and be something different at home. And my whole family needs to come along with me too.
Well, and I mean, how often do we do that all the time? I know, especially as women, we're looking at social media, we're seeing what we're supposed to be. What is the definition of a successful woman? What is the definition of a business owner, of an entrepreneur, of a mom, of a wife? What are our roles? And so many of us wear all these different hats, but we don't wear it authentically.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Yeah.
And I had to make that change. And especially because being myself, as much as I'm hated for it, as much as I've lost friends over it, as much as I'm rejected for it, like people are like, oh my God, Lauren, I love your energy. I was like, yeah, most don't, to be real. Like I'm a threat to most. People don't understand why I smile so much. This is just because I'm being myself. Tricia, we're not even at the point of talking about like adversity. When I tell you, I've been blocked on social media. But I think how many people have blocked me now? Several. Because I didn't make eye contact with them and say hello when walking into a building. Just from like, there's always going to be some other people's judgments of you and your behaviors and what you should be. And I cannot live in that space. A bigger part of it is that I know what my purpose is. And so I can't do what I'm supposed to do while I'm here in this lifetime if I'm not myself. You would hate me. Yeah. Actually, Tricia, there was a period of time, honey, where your girl was wearing weave down to the floor, okay? I had bundles on bundles on on bundles, okay? Can you imagine me but that was my life. Weaved down, all right? Always like overly made up. Always like something else, wearing shoes that hurt my feet. Like as much as we think, that's not right. That's a major thing. Why the hell am I going to wake up this good bunion just so you can see that I wear heels or heels of a certain like designer brand or whatever? So I just think that like you have to like kind of realize like where your light shines and where you make impact. And me being anybody else other than Lauren Powers, like it just don't work. It's terrible.
It's so interesting. And you were reminding me of when I was growing up in the modeling world and I'm leaving high school or whatever to go do these big shoots and coming back. And I felt like nobody could connect with me. Nobody understood me. People judged me. They were like, oh yeah, she's just that girl running off to do that. And even when people meet me now, I'm very tall. I definitely make an impact when I walk in a room. And I think a lot of the times that does set people off. And I think what happens with people such as us that are maybe extroverts or spend our lives just being out there and being ourselves is we do get a lot of pushback from people that are not comfortable with themselves. So it's easier to judge who we are as people for them because they're not where they need to be. But then I don't think that people really get how much that has an internal impact on our heart and our soul and who we are, because we don't show it, right? We're performers, we're extroverts. If you can believe it, I actually was very much an introvert and very shy as a child.
Really? I can see you being like the chatty one.
No. Well, yes, with my family, yes. But it took me getting on stage and performing that brought out my personality because I could be somebody else.
Right.
I could go on, put on, read a script, become a character, be that character. And then people identified me with that character and I could interact with people as a character. I can interact people as a runway model. I can interact with people very well. As a doctor, I can interact with people very well. As Tricia, as real authentic Tricia, if I'm really honest with myself, it takes a very rare individual to really let my guard down and be who I am, vulnerability and all.
Really?
And
So are we both like two weirdos? Like
that's the thing, Lauren, is I don't think we are. I think so many people out there listening could say the same thing. They're like, yeah, I just want to be me. I just want to dress like me. I just want to be able to do makeup or not do makeup. I spend the majority of my time in freaking flip-flops,
as you should,
with no makeup. But at the same time, there's a power in me that comes out when I do dress up and I am able to be who I want to be. So that is quite a crossroads. So I want to know, because people say this all the time to me when they make this healthy transformation and they decide to go to something, they're like, oh, I'm going to have to sabotage this, or this is going to ruin this or whatever. So what did you feel like you were, like you weren't living it fully, like you were going to have to cut things out, like if it was going to be a restriction to be healthy?
I really didn't, because of the knowledge that I've learned from being around folks like you and the different communities that we're in. I, for a long time, thought I was going to have a very short life. For a long time. Both my parents passed away at age 60 and 68.
Yeah.
Which is young.
I know. Well, mine were 59 and 69. I know.
That's crazy. It's when you think about like 40 plus years of life could have been left, for either one of those individuals. Same for mine.
Yeah.
But I never even had it in my mouth or in my mind or in my body that I was going to live to be 90 something years old. I remember specifically saying out loud that I was going to be dead before I was 50. I don't know from what, but I just know the shit come in and be taking my family members out, right? Between cancer and diabetes and everything else.
It's literally what we learn. It's a fear response, right? It's what we've learned is that people will die.
And I now have a different, I guess, lease on life and my thinking on what life should be. Now it's like, oh shit, Lauren, you got 60 years to live. Let's get this money. Let's get this money. Let's stack these coins. Let's travel with our family of 4 when they are in their 30s and 40s. Guess what? Mommy and daddy will be right here. My husband looks like a fucking Avenger. So he's going to be in his mid 50s, bench pressing 225. That's what we're on. And actually what real leaders and folks that know that they're meant for more just based on their own gifts, their own God-given gifts, how to take something, how to change your narrative, and then how to help other people. That's why people don't like us sometimes, right? Yeah. Because now I'm taking my health journey and it's all over my Instagram, and I've created a platform to help minorities in health. Yeah. And I've introduced myself in the past year over 200 new doctors who were previously conventional, who are now I need to do something different. And that's how we make changes. So it's my little life and my little issues matter very little when you're talking about the bigger impact, just from me just putting out a post about some glutathione that I had.
I know.
Or a sauna, that infrared sauna that I had. While people may it may seem braggadocious, it's not. It's because I'm talking about infrared healing. And yes, you can own a sauna too.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of this is about a mindset shift and taking ownership of where you see your future self living. I mean, my wall in front of me, you can't see it, but my entire window is my life.
Really? That's cool.
Yes. Things like abundance, a certain amount of income monthly, being debt-free.
Yes.
Flow of money. I have flow of money through making an impact, gorgeous, relaxing backyard, traveling with dog. I have all these things written all over my wall, right? Because every day when I come out to my office, I'm like, what does my future self want? What does my 60-year-old person want to be? Where do I want to be? And what choices do I have to make right now in this moment today, so that I'm living in that and not in
the old story.
The grief and the feeling alone and feeling misunderstood and taking personal when people didn't get me. And to be honest, I want to say, when I was saying earlier, people didn't get me, that wasn't their fault. It was mine.
Really?
Because maybe I didn't allow myself to be open with them, right? Maybe I walked in with my guard up a little bit. Maybe my insecurities came out, which didn't give them a feeling of wanting to come and talk to me, right? And then I take it personally when they don't. That's partially on me too. I mean, energy is.
I'm going to challenge you there just a
Are
little bit.
you? Okay, good.
Because now this is the more, I guess, arrogant side of being confidently yourself. But I had to get to a point where literally, Tricia, I cannot care how people receive me, as long as I know that I'm doing my best to be respectful and, you know, all the checking all those boxes. But I became so concerned with making sure people kind of understood me and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then the arrogant part is, guess what, babe? You're a unicorn. It's kind of like most folks won't get you. Most folks don't have a shiny horn coming out of their head. They just don't. Yeah. And when people come up to me and say they like my energy, the first thing they do is try to make eye contact and then try to touch me. Oh. First thing they do. Oh my God, I love your energy, and try to touch my hair or some shit. And I'm like, girl, this is a different episode. Big no.
Don't touch Lauren's hair.
Do not.
Do not.
Unless you're invited in to touch. Okay. But that type of thing. And I would always like lean into people who are like would clamor towards me, because I thought that I was like, ooh, if they like me and they get me. No, it never helped or made the relationship any different or better. I have to be concerned with being my true authentic self at all times, as long as I know I'm not like a serial killer or a cat killer or a bully or all of those negative things. But positive energy should get positive reactions. And if you don't feel that, that's not my fault.
I agree.
That's
with
my
you.
challenge.
No, actually, like now in my life, I feel that way. But I'm just thinking in the past, I was walking in without that confidence, right? And I was walking in without this authentic self. And so no wonder they didn't get me, because I wasn't being authentic to myself, right? Right. Yeah, I completely agree with you on like at this point in our lives. And I do think it happens kind of when we have the shift around 40 years old. I think we just start to say, you know what? Like, I'm just going to be me. And I think now if I walk in and I'm being me and people aren't responding to that, then it doesn't really bother me anymore. But
at this age,
it took me a long time to overcome that, because I grew up in an industry where you were judged on how you look all the time and how you show up. And, you know, there were some benefits out of this because I always showed up on time. So now as a professional, I'm always on time. Like there were things I learned from that industry, which was great. Show up prepared, have all your shoes with you, you know, have all your makeup, have everything ready to go in case something goes wrong. And I'm fantastic at pivoting because of that. But I grew up in a world where my worth was dependent on whether I showed up on time, what I looked like, if I fit the dress, and whether or not I could give them what they wanted as a performance. And as I got over 40, that started to change. And I was like, wait a minute, I am my own performance. I'm who I am. And so now when I go into things, when I was younger and I'd go into a casting, for example, if they didn't pick me, I'd get all upset about it.
Yeah.
Now, if I pitch a podcast or something and they don't take me, I'm like, all right, they're not ready for me. That's cool. Like next year.
How about getting ready for a vacation? Girl, I'll be starving. Okay. If there was a vacation in my like 30s or my 20s, I am not eating. It's a diet of chicken, air, and water. So I can get ready for this vacation, honey. Now, guess what? This beach gonna get the body that I have. And because I understand how, inflammation in the body works, I don't have to work so hard now before a vacation. And I'm so happy too that I don't actually give a what like I used to.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, you like power lift like 8 people.
Oh yeah.
It is unbelievable.
I do. I like, because like weightlifting is like the key to life, right? So for me to get my aggression out in the morning, I can't do Pilates, Tricia. I'm sorry to get it out. I can't even dance it out. I gotta lift some heavy shit. Okay.
I mean, you could literally lift me over your head, and that's a scary. Like you just be like, okay, Tricia, I'm gonna carry you around up here.
It would be like a clean and jerk, like a clean it up. That's what the movement's called, and then I have to press you up. I got 150, 160. I got you.
That's
you're 130. You're a little thing. I forgot.
Yes, 130. But so prior to this health change, did you work out? Was that? Like,
I did. It was, yeah. I owned a gym in Atlanta for many years. I had my own weight loss journey. So I lost 100 pounds by running, doing like overworking, which is what we know from years ago. Boot camps, stuff and burpees and CrossFit and all of that. And through my own weight loss journey is how I came to be in the fitness space. So I was there for over a decade, and I also have like a health marketing company. And I was into fitness based on what was popular. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I did all the trends, and guess what? In my business, I had to make sure that people liked me. So they were like, "Oh my God, Lauren, you don't have Zumba." So guess what I did? Added Zumba. "Oh my God, Lauren, we love cycling. You want cycling?" I added cycling. "Oh my God," like and it kept going and it kept going. I'm not in that business anymore. But think about that though, like how it all these kind of dots connect on how our lives we're conditioned to do stuff because other people want us to. I didn't use any marketing data or analytics to know if Zumba was the correct thing. But I do know that Susie was going to like me real nice because I got her a Zumba class. I knew that, but I did not use any logic towards the decisions I was making. I was using the emotions of how other people felt about me. Can't build a business like that. I mean, you can, but it's probably
do life like that.
No, I mean, nobody can.
Yeah, it's exhausting. It's exhausting, totally exhausting. And you're right. I know in business, we get a lot of shiny object syndrome, right? We're like, ooh, so-and-so's doing that. We're going to do that. But we get that in our personal life too. We see that with weight loss drugs. We see that with diet fads. We see that with all these things. Oh, so-and-so did that and lost all this weight. I'm going to do that and I'm going to lose the weight. Not recognizing that we might be different.
Completely different.
That are the exact same age, live in the same city down the street, have completely different genetics, completely different biochemistry, completely different builds. I mean, you're built very different from me. And when you were talking about going to the beach and just being
not being like beach ready. Yeah.
But I mean, like, you have a beautiful body with what you have. Like, your body doesn't have to be 6 foot tall and 130 pounds to be beautiful on a beach. You can be beautiful as you are, which is a really, really empowering moment, especially as a woman. I can't speak to a man on this, but when you just say, I love my body, and this is something that we do in gratitude practice all the time. It's like, I am grateful. I see a lot in health, people will have a symptom, whatever it may be. I don't know, their ear hurts, right? And every day they wake up and they're like, oh, my ear hurts, or I hate my ear, or this or that. When we wake up and we're like, I love my body. I love that it delivered babies. I mean, when I think of all the things that I've nitpicked my body with over the times, like having a little bit of a bump in my stomach, I've delivered 2 huge children.
Huge. Biggest boys I've ever on the side of the Mississippi.
And I delivered them. I know Cameron's almost 6'4". It's insane. But I delivered them in my kitchen in a hot tub.
Did you really? I didn't know you did natural. Oh my God.
Natural. Well, I used valerian root. That was about it. And my midwife was sitting there at 27 hours labor with Cameron in a hot tub in my kitchen. And if I were to like pick a defining moment in my life where I realized how freaking powerful I was, that was it right there. When that baby came out of me and I was holding him and I was like, oh my God, I've been pushing this child out for 27 hours.
Yeah, you can't tell me anything after this.
Oh my gosh. And they say that babies can't smile when they first come out. This kid, I have a picture of it, looked right at me and smiled like, hi, Mom. And I was just like, oh my God, like my life just changed. Everything about my life just changed in that moment, right? That powerful moment of discovery and push through.
That's what one of my best friends says that. She said the earth dropped from underneath her when she had her baby naturally. Like it was just like that. She felt like a warrior in another like time life.
It was unbelievable. And yet when we have things come up in our lives, whether that's professionally or personally, let's say we're having relationship issues or we're having money issues or we're having whatever, when we have this moment where we have to push, we have to be in labor, we have to be ridiculously uncomfortable for a very long time, we oppose that. We say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I would challenge any woman out there that has had natural childbirth. If there is something in your life that you're holding back from and you're saying, I'm not going to move forward in that because it's uncomfortable, I want you to go back to that moment where you shoved that baby right out of you, because if you can do that, freaking you can do anything. Oh my God.
Yes, you can. Don't be singing spirituals on the edge of the bed like I was, because I was. I sent a note to Jamal. I said, tell Jackson I love him, but I will not make it. So whenever...
Was yours natural?
So I did it the hybrid way, thinking I could control my outcome. So my water broke. I had never ever intended on having any drugs, but I did not do a home birth.
Mhm.
So when I went to the hospital, they did the normal thing. They were like, "Oh, your fluids leaking and all that." So they gave me Pitocin. Girl, those were the unnatural contractions. So I made it to 6.5 centimeters before death was knocking at my door to come steal me away. And then I got an epidural, which never took. Right, I had to have like two of them, by the way. But I love these empowering stories of strength because I did not show the strength. It's not a comparison by any way, but I know I actually told Jamal. I said, "This is it. Take the child and you go be a single dad because this ain't for me." So you just inspired me, Tricia. You have
Well,
with
I
your
think,
with your
well, we like to control it, right? Well, we're going to control our labor. We're going to control this when really you have to let go. So would you say
Mhm.
that through this transformation with your health and everything that you're doing, have you learned how to let go and not now be in control of everything or trust the order
Yeah.
of the universe?
Yes. I'll say yes and no. Yes, in terms of the ride that we're riding with the lifestyle we're creating will not change. So it wasn't like a fad, like hey, let me just use some oregano just because I got allergies or whatever. It wasn't that. It's like a lifestyle of changing our products. We don't have plastic. We drink certain types of water. We're changing the air and stuff in our house. Took up the carpet, all of
Good.
these things. This is years, girl. This is years of living. But what I will say is where I'm now showing more control is on the lifestyle decisions that we make, because we were so excited and gung ho. So we're just buying this and buying that and trying this and trying that. We kind of slowed down on that a little bit to make sure that the products and services and physicians and the different things that we're attached to actually really do serve us, as opposed to just riding on the Zumba train because Zumba's popular right now, right? So
Yeah.
that's the only little bit of control that I show, is just now I'm doing a lot more research to make sure that the moves that we're making really are meant for us, because everybody's unique. Everything should be personalized, right? So that's it. But outside of that, girl, we're having a ball. I don't plan on we're not changing our lifestyle, straight up. We're just not.
Do you
We're,
find
we
that you've
we
been better
love
at
the
saying,
change.
do you find that you're better now at saying no to things? Or like not letting
Yes.
things into your life. So now you have more time to take care of Lauren.
Yeah, like, so saying no has been a process, just like, changing your lifestyle and all of those things, because there's that part of us that is the pleaser, or you want people to like you and all the things. And so I would just say, damn, I lost my train of thought. What was the question? You can leave that in there, because I was on a roll, okay? And I know that role.
I
You were asking me
I
something
will
about
leave
lifestyle.
I will leave it in there, but we're talking about saying no. Like, have you learned to say no to things
Yes.
better so that you can have more time for you? Because we say yes
Yes.
to everything.
I do say yes to things when it's related to money, but normally I do say I have learned to say no, because outside, when you're talking about like changing your life, and especially if you're a person of influence, there's a lot of intention that comes behind everything that we do. Like, I know that you probably are intentional even with the way that you go to sleep and the way that you wake up, right? Like, when it comes to like visioning sessions and knowing how your day is going to be set up, and know that you want to bring joy to certain people in certain ways, you have to have that foundation, I think, set first before you
Yeah.
start wagging your finger. It's like, well, I got boundaries and stuff. But you have
Yeah.
boundaries, but then you're like overworking over here, or saying
Yeah.
yes to the things that don't serve you. So I've taken, my husband and I, we read books together, we meditate together. Right now we're reading Old School, The Science of Getting Rich, old school.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, but all it is about just repeating that intentionality and that methodical thinking about changing our environment around us. So if someone is asking to do something that doesn't serve me, when I think about like how my days are set up, how our life is set up, it's super easy to say no. There's even things, I know I joked about making money, but I get offers all the time for things.
Yeah.
Some stages don't need me. I'm not the right
Yeah.
person to be on certain stages. While they make like my smile, I still
Yeah.
know, you know what, this time away from my family isn't going to work, or the audience or whatever just doesn't work. It just doesn't serve me. And I celebrate because
Yeah.
after I've made that type of decision, because before I would have been in a chokehold. Like, what do I do? Do I say yes? Do I say no? Do I say yes? Do I say no? But there's a confidence now that I have. Could be age, it could be life experience, could be motherhood. I don't know. But I'll ride it for as long as I can. This is the year of no.
Well, I think it's also a mindset shift because when you start doing those visualizations,
Mm-hmm.
um, you don't see the crap. Like you don't see the crap anymore. You see the love and the gratitude, and you start attracting that to you, and you say yes to that. And it's almost
Yep.
like I swear there's like some emails I just miss, I never see. And then I'll go back and clean my email box out and I look at them and they were people that were like down here in the frequency train. They were like down at the floor and people that I really didn't want to necessarily work with or do
High
anything with
vibes
anyway.
only, girl.
And
High vibes only.
yeah, the world's just filtering them out. And I've noticed that more in the last year as I've really doubled down on, like you're talking about, visualizations and mantras and
Mm-hmm.
deciding what am I putting out in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's my mission of how I want to show up to the world
Mm-hmm.
every single day? What does my ideal day look like? And I think when we're young, when we're in our 20s, even in our like high school and college, we're going off, we have this imagine that we're going to be this cool, badass woman and we're going to have this or that. We do that all the time when we're younger. We visualize what we're going to be. And then we get to this age and we start always thinking about what we had. And
Mm-hmm.
we're not looking at where we're going. And, there's been multiple times throughout my career where the money's been low, right? And in the past, I would always be like, "Oh my God, my money's so low. What am I gonna do?" Right? And now I'm just like, "Oh, cool, it's cool. Like, I'll make more. Like,
We're gonna make more.
there's
Yeah.
it's a
Straight up.
shift." And I think so many of us could benefit from that. And I have no doubt that you probably go through those same types of things and have recognized that. And when I interview successful people such as yourself, everyone says, "I visualize. I do mantras.
Visualize.
I I embrace
Trisha,
this
I won't
lifestyle."
even market. I won't even have people sign up with me for consulting, marketing, or coaching if they come into the conversation from a position of lack
Yeah.
when you're about to invest some money and
Mm-hmm.
you got it's a big, we're talking about thousands of dollars a month. I ain't got time for that. Because these are people, you ain't sign up for coaching and mindset work with me. You sign up for
Yeah.
marketing. And if you open up with, oh, my last company did blah, 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 click, bye. Because I don't have the time to teach you about how, like, for our growth goals, whether it be business, personal, financial, it's like 50% historical analytics or whatever. The
Yeah.
other 50% is that you changing that part of yourself, you visualizing and saying outside, this is exactly what's going to happen. I'm meant for more. I'm meant to do cool things. I'm making
Mhm.
money today. And
Yeah.
it's difficult to get someone there if they don't have that belief, that center of belief first, you know?
Oh,
And unfortunately, Trisha, we ain't all got it, girl.
I know. Yeah.
We don't.
I,
We
I
don't
don't
all
think
have that
everyone
belief.
is capable of well, I think the majority of people don't have that belief. They are living in lack. I
Mm-hmm.
think, and I don't think it helps when people are scrolling online and it's all doom and gloom and you do this and you do, people get sucked into that dopamine hit and they start recognizing everything they don't have, everything that's wrong in the world. When in reality, we're all just people. We're all going through the world together. And if we
Mm-hmm.
looked at coming at people that may have different viewpoints, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, the variety of what we have, if we all just came together with love and gratitude, acceptance, and trying to understand different viewpoints, we live a different life. And you've got the group of people that do that and they're very successful. And then you've got the people that don't do that and they blame the successful people for their crappy life. And I go, well, wait a minute. If we're all going to come together and we're going to change our lives to be happy and joyful and fun, we actually have to go into it with a happy, joyful, and fun attitude. Do you agree with that? Or are you going to challenge me on that?
I'm not challenging you on happiness and joy. What could I do? Say, actually, you should be a bitch, actually, Trisha, for most of your days. No, I believe that. That happiness and joy is so pure. And it comes from the only place it can come from is your heart. It's not a head
from,
thing, it's a heart thing.
from when
Right?
you were
That's
a
pure.
kid. Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think of my,
That's everything. Talk to that inner child. Like, I love that. That's who I salute and encourage every day is the little girl who believed that I was going to be something major, and it's my job to do that.
What were you like as a child? Like, tell me about 5-year-old Lauren.
5-year-old Lauren. So I was a bit of a nut. What was I? I live, and I'm going through this with my life coach right now, where she's taking me through
Uh-huh.
things where I have to talk about my youth, my childhood. At 5, I was super smart. So reading and writing and doing all of those things. My mother would take me to daycare. She was
Mhm.
working at a university in Virginia, so I went to daycare at Howard University, or not Howard, Hampton University, for a couple of years. And my mother used to say that I would calm the children down when I walked in, just my presence. So if the kids were screaming, they would just come over to me, and I would be the sage, like, quiet children. Can't imagine how that actually is a real thing, but that's what my parents said.
They didn't touch your
I
hair, apparently.
They better not. And I didn't have no hair at that age anyway, so it'd have been like my little bald head to touch. But I was definitely a parent pleaser. So
Yeah.
I don't even know how to like put that into words, as like I feel like my childhood was meant to please my parents. I'm not
Yeah.
I don't have trauma from that, but I just know that was what my job was. So
Yeah.
I was in 1,000 different sports, 1,000 different clubs and activities. And my dad would have said till the day he dies that Lauren cannot operate with one thing happening. From the time she came out of the womb, she needs multiple things happening at once. Now, whether she's good at all of these things is a different question, or whether she can
Mhm.
handle it is a different question. But I would definitely say, on the positive note, happiest kid, talkative, the one that you want to hang out with. On the more constructive note, very weak executive function,
Yeah.
and loving to just do the most. That was
Yeah.
me. And always
I could,
telling jokes too.
well, I could see that for sure.
Oh my God. So Trisha, I was on, oh my God, you can leave this in here too. This is real. So I was on a plane 2 weeks ago coming back from San Diego, and I was sitting next to the co-writer of Wicked, Dana
Oh,
Fox.
right on.
So her name is Dana Fox. She's awesome, right? So we're talking about Wicked. Basically, we're like flying in space. We're not even, there's no Wi-Fi. We are just talking for 5.5 hours. And she tells me, she says, Lauren, do you realize you need to do stand-up? And I said, no. She says, no, you need to do stand-up. You need to get this out of your system. And you need to figure out how you can, just because you bring people joy and you make me laugh. And I write comedy. And so, like, privately, we're in talks about possibly me doing some stand-up somewhere. So we'll see what happens. But like, making people laugh has always been just something I enjoy, whether the jokes land or
Yeah.
not.
I enjoy that too. I really do. Like, I really enjoy making people laugh and entertaining. It's natural. And I think certain people have that. And if you don't have that, then do what you're naturally good
Do.
at. So, would you say, if you even went back like to your 20s to now, has your definition of success changed? Of what's successful?
Yes. Yes.
So what
It's
was
been
it and what is it now?
before I was going to college. Okay. So going to college and having one of the like primary careers, doctor, lawyer, I don't know, something in finance, marketing. And I did that. So it's college, and it was like, you got to have a good paying job. That's success. You're living on your own, according to my parents. You're living on your own, you have a property, and you have a job that's like 6 figures, and you can stay there in perpetuity. You ain't
Mhm.
hopping from job to job. Parents were not talking to me about entrepreneurship, even though my
Yeah.
dad was an entrepreneur. Girl, no. That was
No.
not like a discussion. Did I have it in me? Sure. But that's not something my parents encouraged. So once I kind of crossed that milestone of success, then it's like, oh, family. That's like peak. Like, you can't be more successful than that, right? Married with 2 kids. Who wouldn't want that? I'm being heavily sarcastic, guys, with my
I,
with my tone. Because everybody's dreams are different, but that's literally school, then marriage, then a house, and
Mhm.
then kids. And so what is success to me now, girl? Sleeping through the MF and night. Hello? Not
Yeah.
having hot sweats, having my kids communicating with me, and like that open, like our family unit congealing, where we see, oh my God, this is my legacy. That's success. Not having to like wonder where money is coming from. I'm not talking about rich in terms of the ways that we may
Yeah.
think, but the
Yeah.
security. And I
Mhm.
wasn't working towards that. It took the health change. Us making this holistic thing like a part of our life, for us to see that we have literally now that we're doing things in a way that we feel like is right, that's 40, 50 years left of vibrancy. That's not dying at 50, right? So we got that success. Me living till 95, Tricia, while I'm still driving and still having sex. There you go. That's what I want.
I will still be in the dance class with the teens in
there
my
you
80s
go.
and 90s. There is no question about that. I will be dancing still. There's a lady in one of my classes at the gym. I take now 5 or 6 hours a week of dance.
Oh, you've up-leveled up. You've leveled up on us. Okay,
I've up-leveled. Okay. And it's at 3 different places. So it's kind of cool because I have different teachers and I have different things. And I joined a gym that has more of an aerobic type dance class, but it's constant cardio. So from the time you start till the time you finish, and you pick up the routine as you go. And there are women in there who are easily like would have been my grandmother's age, and they're keeping up with me. And I look at them and I'm like, there is so much life left to live. So it sounds like you went from like stability, which is very much like me. Like it was ironic because it was like, well, you're going to be a fashion model and you're going to be famous. I was actually voted most likely to be famous in high school. That was what they voted me, right?
Really? I was most unique.
There you go. Well, you're a unicorn.
Right. Right.
But it was funny because it was like, well, if you're going to go the entertainment route, you can be an entrepreneur. That's cool because you're built for it. You're trained in it. Your parents, I mean, my mom was a model. My dad was a photographer. Like I was born into it. But when I went into college, they're like, no, you need stability. They were kind of like yours. They were like, you need to get a job. You need to get a steady paycheck because money may not always be there if you don't, if you don't have a stable job, your life could fall apart.
And where does the money come from? Yeah.
Yeah. And to this day, I don't know what my dad would say about where I am right now. He never saw me as an entrepreneur because he died too soon.
Too young.
My mom saw the very beginning of it and was excited, but a little bit timid about it at the same
nervous.
time. And so I don't know what would they say if I were to have this conversation with them about forcing stability and security over taking risks.
You don't think they would ask, are you just happy? Like, are you just happy?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my parents would be like, happiness doesn't dwell in a house by itself. Happiness lives in the same house as faith. It lives in the same house as wealth. It lives in the same house as health. Like, happiness isn't isolated. So there's no way you could tell me you're happy unless you're lying. And then when we lift up the hood, all the wires are crossed and everything's just a hot mess. Like, I just like, what do you I feel like your mom will be like, girl, are you happy?
Oh, absolutely. And I was going to say, I mean, your parents, did they get to see you make that entrepreneurial shift or they were gone as well?
My mother, before she died, she told me to shit or get off the pot because I was making decisions about whether I was going to open a gym or not. So that was and actually when she died, part of the money she left me fueled some of the investment for the first gym. So she was aware, but couldn't see it. And then my dad, he absolutely saw it. And the whole entire time when I was stressed because the business I was running was not profitable at the time, he hated it. He hated it for me. He said, Lauren, how much do I need to pay to get you out of this scenario? Like, you're losing your hair. You don't appear happy. And, for me, for my business, my rock bottom moment was I couldn't even nurse my kid, girl, because I didn't have no milk. I had nothing. And it was because of stress. For me, I was teaching fitness classes and working corporate America at the same time. I'd be walking around with the baby like, come on, eat. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, Lauren, what? You're doing this to serve other people and you're not serving yourself. Your kid can't even eat. And that was when my dad was like, nah, girl, you better get it together. So it was I had the stern love from dad, actually from both of them. But ultimately, it was just about happiness, and fulfillment in life.
I couldn't nurse my babies either. Stress, adrenal fatigue, I couldn't produce milk, and I beat myself up. I'm a naturopathic physician. I sit there and say, hey, breast milk is the best thing, and I literally could not feed my baby.
Do it.
I don't think... I'll take that out. I'll mark that. I don't think... Honestly, if I were to look at what I considered failure at the time, one of my biggest moments was that I couldn't feed my babies. I beat myself up about that so much because I thought I should be able to do that. It's a natural thing. And it's funny when you were mentioning your parents, I thought of when my mom passed away. She was my biggest cheerleader because she forced me to write a book. She kept saying, the editor kept calling me and saying, no, I want you to write a book. I'm like, I don't write. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what I don't. And they're like, no. And they kept hounding and they kept calling my office, and she was answering my phone, and she's like, Tricia, these people are not leaving me alone. Why don't you just write the book? And I was like, so when she passed, I did a lot of Reiki work and like going to mediums and really just trying to open up my heart chakra again and deal with the grief. And one of the first things that a medium or an intuitive said was, she goes, who is this woman that's showing me a book? She's like jumping up and down with a book. And I said,
how cool is that?
That's my mom, because she was like, but you wrote a book. You know?
Do the book. And even I will say this, even for me now as a big grown up at this big old age of 42, I absolutely am very driven by making my parents proud in the spiritual sense. If they were here, what would they say? And they would say, Lauren, you have been yourself this whole time, because they know I'm cray-cray. And they were like, you've been able to get on stages and still be your cray-cray self, or grow businesses and still be yourself. And I'll never even forget, Tricia, the first time I took the weave out of my head and put locks in, because I didn't feel like I could do that in the jobs that I was doing before. Like those, it's been this evolution to become, right? And I do pray, and I know that with the future in the next 40, 50 plus years, we have a happy, vibrant, impactful living. I know that I'm gonna make both my parents proud, and baby girl Lauren Ray proud too. That's what I'm working for.
I have no doubt that they're already so proud of you. And I have no doubt that they guide you every single day towards these amazing things. And I hope you know that in everything you do, even with getting vulnerable here and being Lauren Powers, you inspire so many people, so many business people, so many people listening to this as a woman, with what you do. And the things that you've created, and the inclusion and the love and the gratitude that you put out there towards people is absolutely palpable. So I just want you to know it is very much recognized. I have no doubt that your parents are so incredibly proud. And I could sit here and talk to you all day, but obviously you're a powerful woman, and I have to let you go. But I would like to give you an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say, or tell us a little about some of the amazing things you're doing, anything where people can find you. You have a podcast that I think is so worth listening to. So this is a moment for you to stand up and be the powerful mother effing Lauren Powers. Give it to me.
Well, I have to put in my radio voice. So y'all, you can find me on Instagram at I am Lauren Powers. I'm a bit of a nut over there, so hold on before you hold on to your.
Well, they do follow me. I mean, so
it's equally as nutty. So you get a little infotainment, a little education, and it's all focused on health marketing and healthy living and all that good stuff. My podcast is for practitioners, usually like health business owners. It's called the Power Moves Health Marketing Podcast. You can find it anywhere that podcasts are available. And I just implore all of you, the best self is the person that you were absolutely born to be. And as that person keeps evolving, you keep evolving right along with that individual, and name that person and call that person out every single day, because that's how you're manifesting your next 40, 50 years of impact. So I'm just appreciative of you, Tricia. You know, you my girl. So I hope that someone gets something from this today.
If they don't, then
who cares, right? No.
Just kidding. But I'm saying, speaking to authenticity, I think it's so nice to be real and to be myself as well with someone. And as just sitting, my whole goal of this show is to just have people come together and just what I want is for people to walk away saying, wow, that's kind of me too. Like, we are not alone in this world. And in that moment that you feel alone, you feel like nobody sees you, you feel like nobody likes you, you feel like you're not keeping up with everything, everyone around you is feeling exactly the same. And the solution is for us to talk about it, for us to come together, and for us to really move forward in just being us and loving self-love from every single place of who you are. And you are so worth being loved. And I have loved talking to you. So thank you so much for taking the day. So
thanks for having me, Tricia. This is great. Thank you, girl.
See you soon.